Hello, and welcome to another Madman restoration video. In this video, I will be restoring a Founders Pattern number 7 dresser. At first glance, this seems to be a pretty standard refinish. But when you look at the sides and the top, you will see it was painted poorly in this ugly blue color. Not only was the piece painted by the previous owner, they also used Minwax poly shades on it as well. And I know this because they handed me the can that they used. Products like this can hurt furniture more than they can help, and they should never be used on mid-century modern furniture. To start, I need to strip the paint off, and to do that, I'm going to use Clean Strip Stripper. Now it's time to remove the paint and see what's underneath. Now I think I found the reason why the previous owner painted the top. I'm not exactly sure what caused this mark. It doesn't look like a watermark. It's not a burn. It may just be an ink stain, but it is something I'm going to have to address. Next, I'm going to wipe the top down with mineral spirits. After the top dries, I do a light sanding with 150 grit sandpaper and see what happens to that mark. After sanding, it's evident that the stain will not come out. Because of the finish I'm going to use, I did not want to go straight to oxalic acid because that may lighten the top and not match with the sides later when I refinish. So I'm going to spray QCS by Stripwell and see if that will help lift the stain. QCS is not meant to remove stains, but I know it does not lighten the wood, so I wanted to try it here and see what it could do. Now this is a good time to mention that I now have a promo code with Stripwell for QCS. Use promo code MADMAN for 10% off your QCS order. After wiping off the QCS with a damp rag and letting it dry, this is what we are left with. I'm happy how the QCS worked at trying to remove that stain. If you look closely, that slight discoloration you see is actually from scrubbing. I opened the grains of the wood so it looks slightly different. Next, I use my random orbital sander with 220 grit sandpaper on the entire top. Because the stain is still slightly visible and there are watermarks other places on the top, I wanted to put just one coat of oxalic acid on it. When the oxalic acid dried, I wiped the entire top with a damp rag. Now the entire piece is stripped and ready for its refinish. For the finish, I'm going to use a product I said I would never use. Most mid-century modern furniture was finished with lacquer. However, Founders Furniture were one of the few companies that actually used an oil finish on their pieces. So even though it hurts my soul to be using oil instead of lacquer, I will be using it to keep the piece true to the original. To apply, I pour a little Danish oil on the piece and rub it in with a clean rag. After the oil has sat for about 5 to 10 minutes, I wipe with a clean cloth. I let the piece sit overnight, then apply a second coat. Danish oil really is that simple to apply. However, it offers little to no protection compared to pre-cat lacquer. And here it is, all finished. I have to say, I've worked on many mid-century modern pieces, but Founders really is above average quality, way better than Lane, Broyhill, and the common American furniture brands. At this angle you can see that the veneer on the side and the top is one continuous piece. This is a nice touch and not common on most mid-century pieces. Also, by using one continuous piece, it makes coloring the piece even easier, especially when using an oil finish where you cannot control the color. Please subscribe and like this video, and follow my Instagram for more mid-century modern restorations.